Now, houses made of scrap material, no running water, no electricity. Well, if you think this is Texas after a winter storm or a forgotten refugee camp, think again. This describes home for thousands of Roma families across Serbia. Many of them ended up in Serbia 2 decades ago, fleeing the war in Kosovo. Now, their temporary shelter, now permanent housing, entire makeshift neighborhoods that Serbian authorities seem to overlook year after year. Our correspondent Fanny Facsar visited one of these settlements on the outskirts of Belgrade.
Crossing the road to a life no one wants to live. A social worker takes us inside this Roma settlement. It's in the middle of a forest. People here are left to fend for themselves.
They are poor, they don't have education, and they're trying to live day for day.
And they are angry. Various politicians have been here, they say, but nothing has changed. They only come when the elections are coming up. They give us some flour, sugar, oil and macaroni, and they think we will live from this gift all year. This settlement started out as a makeshift camp for refugees fleeing the war in Kosovo more than 2 decades ago. That's when Samson arrived. Back then a teenager, now a father of 7 children. He welcomes us into his house, made of scrap material. His youngest child is only a couple of months old. I worry a lot because I don't want them to live the same life I do. I've been struggling for so many years. I'm most sorry for my wife. She has to do the laundry by hand. I would buy a washing machine, but I have nowhere to turn it on. With the ongoing pandemic, the children had to drop out of school. Without internet, no access. And then there is the key legal hurdle to improving their lives. We have encountered a lot of problems because I did not have any documentation when I came here. We did not have the time when we left Kosovo. His story is that of so many here. One of their biggest obstacles to proper housing and healthcare, documents. Without IDs, people who live here have become legally invisible in Serbia. There are hundreds of informal Roma settlements, but this camp is one of the worst. People here are living in inhumane conditions with no electricity, no running water. They feel ignored and overlooked by the government. The local government in Belgrade did not want to answer our questions about the living conditions here. Marko Vasiljevic is not surprised. He's been advocating for the rights of the Roma in Serbia for years. Living without access to the very basics is a serious health risk at any time, but especially during the current pandemic, he says. Their health is extremely affected, both physically and mentally, and this may at some point escalate. There are sporadic housing programs for people living in informal settlements, but there is no systematic approach to all informal settlements. He believes this is due to discrimination of a community already marginalized in so many parts of the world. There are already various action plans and national policies in Serbia to improve the living conditions of Roma. Together, they are one of the requirements to join the European Union one day, but such plans and policies require a stronger political will to implement them so settlements like this one cease to exist.